You know it now. We're in my goddamn garage. We're in my goddamn garage. You know it now, my goddamn garage. Where we at now, my goddamn garage. You know it.
Maurice Blais was raised strict Catholic. As far as he was concerned, the earth was like 6,000 to 7,000 years old. We were alone in the cosmos, and all of humanity came from Adam and Eve. Like I said, a strict Catholic household. So when my dad showed him a map of the universe that he got in a National Geographic magazine, Maurice ran to the bathroom and vomited. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the correct response. If you were to have your worldview shattered like that, becoming physically ill makes perfect sense to me. His axioms were shook. And this was a long time coming, too. I could hear my dad and Maurice talking about this as I was lying in bed trying to sleep, and I was confused, too. Dad would talk about the unlikeliness of Noah's story, or where the city came from that Cain went to, just casually pointing out various issues with biblical history as written. Things that any modern reader would have issues with, chances are. At the time, I was going to church with my family. My mom would make me swear in the Bible to prove I was telling the truth, and I would never lie if I was swearing on the Bible. I learned the stories and the songs, and it all seemed to mean a great deal for my dad at the time. So for a 9-year-old to hear his dad talk about how this wasn't necessarily a true story was confusing. So I approached him. Dad, do you think the Bible is true? Well, he says, of course I do, Jacob. Why would you say that? Well, I heard you talking to Maurice, and you were saying that it didn't make any sense that Cain went to a city. Where did the city come from? And I saw a look on his face that I now recognize as something like, too soon. And he turned and looked at me and he asked, well, does it make sense to you? And I thought about it. I looked at him. No, I agreed. It didn't make any sense that a city was there if they were the only people on earth. I couldn't reconcile this. I was only 9 years old. Well, then why do we go to church, Dad? Why are you making me learn these stories if you don't think they're true? Well, that's just something you're going to have to figure out for yourself, he tells me. And don't get me wrong, just because I don't think it happened doesn't mean I don't think it's true. Those are different things. Some of the stories probably did happen. Who knows? That's not what's important. And at 9, this didn't make a lot of sense to me, but it did stick with me. I often think that some of how you respond to religious questions and ideas stems from how you were exposed to them as a child. And not just how you were exposed to them, but how you are treated when you ask questions about it. The modern world subtly pushes us in an atheistic direction. And the scientific process, while wondrous in what has helped us to achieve, obviously, makes it hard to believe stories that have supernatural or metaphysical aspects to them. To me, atheism seems like a natural response to the modern human condition. The only thing staving it off entirely at the moment would seem to be things like tradition and intuition. And I don't think we can avoid the thoughts, the impulse towards some metaphysic. So at the moment, I keep it in check like I would a shadow. Either I engage with it, or it comes up in some other place where I'm less likely to be aware of its impact. So I just accept it as a part of me. And I use the structures built by those who came before me, meant to engage with those impulses. I accept that those structures can and do evolve as well. And I try to stay aware of the individual nature of my experience. In other words, I try to be a theist. And I don't think I could say I accomplished this because it's very difficult. It doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. But during those times when I am somewhat successful, when I feel like I've come close, I'm simply a better person, a better man. So I think I know roughly, and now in my 40s, what my dad was talking about. Thing is, I mentioned it to him, and he doesn't remember this at all, and he's not even sure that that's what he would have meant if he had have said it. So, take it as you will.
Don't blame God for what that man did. Don't you know hell is what you make out of it? Oh, everyone sees evil, then blames it on the light. But I bet Jesus is drinking with me tonight. Oh Lord, it is written what is wrong and what is right. That law bends to the will of the mighty. It's cold outside, and I can feel the wind bite. I bet Jesus is drinking with me tonight.